So today we have the Swisstech 37-in-1. And this is, I guess you could say, part of the trilogy, part of the quartet, part of the quintet, whatever you want to call it, of multi-tools. That includes the Byberry and the day camping, and there's the rock tool and several different versions, but this one right here is a little bit different due to the coloring. And then this is the Swisstech version as well. So sometimes Swisstech, again, I think these multi-tools are all made in the same factory, but they will try to change things up a little bit and they will have some differences. And at the moment, this is one of the most expensive of these you can find. So I wanted to go over why the price is a little bit more. Now, let's go over its features, and what we find is, first of all, a very nice surge-like plier head. It's got replaceable wire cutters, and then look at those great pliers, just fantastic, really good. So I've been using the Byberry, which is, again, very, very similar to this, basically identical, and except some colors and so forth we'll get into in a little bit. And it's just been doing great for me at work. Now, one of the things I also wanted to mention was that this does have a crimper at the bottom. For those of us who work in the trades, that can come in very handy, and I've used that on my Leatherman Surge many times. Also, there are some ruler markings right here, which again could come in handy in a pinch, so keep that in mind. So this is one of my favorite multi-tool patterns or frames, I guess you could say, to carry at the moment. So we've got this serrated knife blade, and then on this side we've got these gigantic scissors as well. Let's go ahead, just for the sake of it, go ahead and cut some paracord, and it just cuts amazing. So I use these as fingernail clippers at work. They're just very sharp. So we've already talked about the serrated blade. We've got the normal blade. Again, all these are locking. And then one of the things a lot of you have been wanting for years is a T-shank adapter. So this is something that comes standard on these. Now, for the day camping, or the Leatherman Wave rather, you can buy aftermarket parts. Basically, they're more expensive than this whole tool, where you can put a T-shank adapter on your Wave, and I've had some videos talking about that. But this one right here comes standard with it. So this tool alone probably is almost worth the entire tool because of this part. Now, it's probably not as great as the Leatherman Surge. I feel like it is easy to sort of catch this right here and open it up. The Leatherman Surge deploys, I think, from the bottom, so I like that design better. With this one, you have to be careful to use this tab right here to deploy it, but it definitely does work. And then I have noticed when you try to deploy it back into the frame, sometimes it doesn't fit exactly perfectly, but you know, it is what it is. So this is, again, a very cheap tool. This is about the third of the price of the Leatherman Surge, so keep that in mind. Now, talking about the Leatherman Surge comes in at 12.5 ounces. This comes in at 11.6 ounces. And again, for those of you who use a metric system, this is 330 grams instead of ounces. So let's go ahead and talk about the inside tools. So all the outside tools lock, all the inside tools lock. For those of us in the US, that's a huge plus. And then we have the very large screwdriver, sort of a medium-sized screwdriver. And then we do have this can opener, and then also a circular, sort of an oval, I guess, wire stripper there at the bottom. So, and I think this could be used as a bottle cap lifter as well, for those of you who panic when there's no bottle cap lifter. So then we have this fantastic double-sided bit driver that we're seeing on a ton of tools. Huge fan of that. Again, it locks into place. You can do all kinds of cool things with it, attachments and so forth. So huge fan of that. All right, so let's talk about the accessories. What do you get? Well, the pouch isn't fantastic. So again, this is Swisstech. This is one of the most expensive of these style on the market. This used to be $70 to $80. It has since fallen on AliExpress to around the $50 mark. You may get it cheaper at times as well. But the pouch right here is nothing to write home about. Not a huge fan of this, very generic. It is nice that it has this stretchy elastic in the front. It comes with a very nice bit kit. So that's one of the things I do like about this, is it comes with a pretty cool bit kit as well. And increasingly, we're finding that even from the big brands, they're not giving much accessories with their even expensive multi-tools. And then it does come with replaceable wire cutters for the pliers. So right there are your replaceable wire cutters, and then the tool to replace them. And then it does come with these saw blades for your T-shank adapter as well. Now keep in mind that with these saw blades right here, you will not be able to close the T-shank adapter when you use these. These are only to be used with it out in the open, deployed. So let's go ahead, close this a little bit, give us some more room. And there we go. Let's go ahead and put this into place. And then again, as I've mentioned before, you'll notice there's some play in here, and that can easily be solved by just putting a little bit of cardboard behind there. Again, the cardboard, you just trace out the bottom part of this, and then you just wedge it in there, and then it really takes care of that wobble. But this is what I'm talking about. You'll have to grind down about 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch off here if you want it to fit and close in the frame. I've done that with some of my T-shank saw blades, and then it works very well. So just keep that in mind. And they do it that way, or this file will have some extra metal on it. Now, if you're wondering, can you use a Leatherman T-shank file? You can. You just have to file off some of the metal because this is thinner than the Leatherman T-shank, but both the file and the saw from the Leatherman Surge will fit in here once you thin down the end part right here of those implements. And then you can actually use those as replaceable files as well. So they work. And just to show you, just as an illustration, there are many things you can do with this file. So I took the Klecker comb, and then I just adapted this. This is $7. Not a beautiful mod, but anyway, I adapted that, and then it fits right here as well. So that's very thick implement. So you can fit fairly thick implements into this tool space. All right, so let's talk about what sets the Swisstech apart. Now, a lot of times Swisstech will do some pretty cool things. The handles will be different. Perhaps they'll do some different materials. And initially, I was under the impression that this was completely different from the Day Camping DL30, which is here, and the Byberry. So I thought this was completely different. Now, it's labeled 37-in-1. I don't know why, because as far as I can tell, they have the same tool implements as all these others. So I think they just do that to differentiate themselves. I think sometimes they count these as maybe different tools. Maybe perhaps some of the other ones don't count the saw blades as different tools and the wire cutters. Who knows? But anyway, they basically all come with the same things as far as I know. Now, none of these come with a pocket clip, so keep that in mind. So what sets this apart? Well, the collar does set it apart from some of these, and also the Swisstech logo, of course. And then I don't know that any of them have this cutout, so that's a little bit different. Otherwise, this is made of 3CR, even the handle, and then the blades, some of them are made of 7CR. So for instance, the Day of Camping, it says that the handles are made of 2CR, so there's a 1CR difference, but then it says the knives are made of 7CR. So that's essentially the biggest difference I see. Now, the Byberry says it's made of 3CR as well. So again, when I look at it, these are exactly the same. It's just a design choice, and this a lot of times you can buy cheaper. So it's up to you to decide what you want. So I think, again, it's personal choice. and perhaps sometimes some of the styling will appeal to different audiences, and that way they can make several tools essentially at the same factory, just with a little bit of different styling. So view this as essentially like the Chevy, Oldsmobile, Buick, for those of you old enough to remember that, Pontiac, where essentially it's the same car, they just add this and that to the outside. All right, so that's pretty much what the Swisstech has to offer. I think these are great tools. These are some of my favorite tool sets to carry at the moment. The Byberry, again, I put this clip. I'll try to add that to the description below. Now, with this one, I guess you don't have as much flat metal, but it does. Well, this one had cutouts too, so it should fit as well. And it's not perfect. Sometimes you might snag your pocket on the bottom right here a little bit, but it's worth it to have a slimline clip. And I really like carrying this in my pocket rather than using this pouch. Not a huge fan of this pouch, to be honest, but it is nice that it has these carrying options for all your gear, but I prefer just to carry it in the pocket. If you have any questions about these tools, let me know in the comments below, and then perhaps I can make a couple shorts to further answer your questions.